Like, who y'all want, you know what I'm saying, Loaded Lux to battle next? What battle kind of makes sense more for him? Is it the Daylyt battle for Lux? I see DNA called out Loaded Lux. Is it DNA versus Lux? You know what I'm saying? Daylyt definitely deserved a shot. Everybody been wanting to see Daylyt and Lux for a minute. But there are other battles out there that Daylyt really can take right now, like Rum Nitty, for example, K Shine. There's a couple battles that Daylyt can take. DNA has been doing this thing for so long. He really has earned this shot. And there's not a whole lot of people that DNA realistically can battle with the resume that he got. I mean, there's the Hollows and, you know, the Courts and people that I don't even think that he would ever battle. Clips and Goods, names like that, Mook, Math Hoffa. But, you know, I don't think that he's going to be, he for some reason hasn't been getting those names. And DNA has just elevated time by time, you know what I mean, adjusted to the times. I would really like to see DNA versus Lux. But the only problem is this new DNA, like this, I don't want to say conscious DNA, but like the no gun bar DNA. That new DNA, I don't know if that'll work against Lux. Like, that's working against PGs. That talk is working against people that got a lower stature to DNA. Like, we see how he did it with Ab. We see how he did it with Lou Castro. You know what I mean? Those guys are dope, but as far as stature, it's beneath DNAs. You know what I mean? We talk about overall body of work. So, I don't know if that new DNA is going to mesh well with somebody like Lux. If he beat Lux with that, because that's kind of like what Lux do, you know what I'm saying? And Lux was able to do that to Calico because the stature, you know what I'm saying? And I just think that, you know what I mean, either way it go for Lux, I think Daylyt will be good. That'll be a real witty battle. But, you know, now that DNA is calling him out, DNA don't be getting... DNA give more than he get when it comes to the battle rap culture, especially when it comes to his resume. Like, boy been doing things for so many platforms for so long. He been, you know, labeled the PG killer. He's still doing this thing, man. We see what he's doing against Geechee, top-notch names. And he just not getting those guard tier looks like that. And, you know, he cool with some of them, but I like to see that. Can he beat Lux? You know, Lux is beatable. Loaded Lux is definitely beatable. And that'll be a big challenge for DNA because, like I say, DNA ain't never got that type of look before. So I think that should be box office. Box office. Box office. I will campaign for DNA to get that battle versus Loaded Lux. But, you know, I'm going to do another video on this, just give a little bit more details. I'm going to go into some stats and stuff like that. I'm going to compare Daylyt and DNA to see what will make more sense for Daylyt. For Loaded Lux, because of course it's going to have to be on URL, more than likely. But, you know, y'all let me know what y'all think. Who is the better battle? And who makes sense for a battle versus Loaded Lux more? Daylyt or DNA?